Hi, I'm Carrie from Jefferson Firearms, and today I would like to talk to you about what I call our personal shopping experience. So, many times we have new shooters in our lives or beginner shooters, and they feel a little intimidated or overwhelmed when they walk into a gun store. Sometimes, maybe they've had a bad experience where they felt talked down to or just completely ignored when they've walked into that store and they're not sure where to go or what to do. And no matter how much you say, hey, just come with me, they're like, nah. So bring them here. I love new shooters because at one point I was a new shooter. I went to go buy my first firearm with a family friend, and I got a gun that I couldn't take apart, and I didn't really know the intricacies of that particular firearm because I'd never shot it before, and maybe it was used and didn't come with an owner's manual, but I couldn't take it apart, so I couldn't clean it, so I never shot it, so I owned a paperweight. Eventually, I traded it in and I bought a gun that I knew because I had been issued it when I was in law enforcement, and I loved that gun. And if you ever come in and I pull it out, it's my personal favorite firearm, uh, but everybody has their preferences. So bring your new shooter here, and I will pull out everything from micro compacts to full size. We'll look at rifles, we'll look at shotguns. We will try to meet their need instead of what everybody else thinks. That's the problem when you walk in sometimes and you've got a bunch of people sitting around chewing the fat, which is not a problem, except that can feel overwhelming and intimidating to a person who's new to it and feels like, oh, all these people know everything and I don't know anything, and so I'll just stand over here and not talk. It might be helpful to make an appointment, which I do usually have Tuesdays and Wednesday evenings open. But you can email and we can set up an appointment for your new shooter, and then they can have what I call the Jefferson Firearms personal shopping experience, and I will show you what that is. When a new shooter comes in for the first time, I usually ask, what is the purpose of this firearm? Are you looking for plinking? Are you looking for self-defense? And those questions are more to sort of gauge for me what I need to pull out of the case. Once I have some idea of what it is that your new shooter is looking for, I will lay a mat down and I will start pulling out guns. So let's say, for instance, your new shooter is looking for something that's kind of a universal shooting for entertainment and shooting for self-defense. So I like to look at the compact and micro compact firearms. And I will start pulling out guns, and I start laying them out on the table. Usually, manufacturers have multiple sizes of the same model. So Springfield has the Hellcat and the Hellcat Pro. Glock has the 43, the 19X, and let me pull out the 43X. So I would consider all of these to be in that compact, micro compact range. And then SIG has, let me find the 365s. So there's the regular 365. There's the 365X, 365 XL, and as is usually the case, I've run out of room. And the macro, 365 macro. This one doesn't have a price tag on. This one has a safety. So a lot of these guns come with the option of a manual thumb safety. The Hellcats come with the option of a manual thumb safety. The SIGs come with the option of a manual thumb safety. Glocks never have a safety. So I also ask your new shooter, do you want a thumb safety or do you not want a thumb safety? It's a personal preference. Now, yes, I have pulled out all 9mm because that's a good sort of generic round for new shooters. It's not too snappy, it's easy to come by, and it's fairly inexpensive as opposed to some of the other ones. So once your new shooter has all of these options and they're totally feeling overwhelmed, we start picking them up one by one. So let's start with the 43 because it's maybe the smallest one. And I show them, if they don't know, I show them how to hold it. And we talk about keeping our finger out of the trigger guard, how to put a round in the magazine. I do it, then they do it. Put the magazine in. We talk about slingshotting because we don't want to ride the slide. And then they can pull the trigger because now there's a snap cap in the chamber. Then we try the next one. And it has nothing to do with what I like. It has nothing to do with what anybody else likes. And it has everything to do with what feels good in the hand of that shooter. So once we figure out, okay, well, I didn't really like this one because my pinky sticks out even past that pinky guard. And then if I put my pinky under here, that really gouges into my finger, and that's very uncomfortable. So, okay, maybe I don't like that one. Maybe I like the Glock, but not that one because it's too small, so I pick up the 43X. Maybe I really don't like how that feels, or I don't like the sights, which is a common complaint, so I look at the Hellcat Pro because I assume, looking at the Hellcat, that it's going to be too small for me, much like the 43X. And oh, okay, well, this one feels good. When I put the magazine in, my pinky's not down, and it feels pretty good. Empty magazine, so now we'll put a round in. Snap cap round. Can I work the slide? Okay, I can work the slide. How do I like those sights? Looks pretty good. Feels pretty good, but I always encourage them, even if you think this is the one, try all of them. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the Sig Sauer 365X L. I'm sorry, this is the XL. Okay, it feels okay. It's a little short. Magazine helps. Let's put a snap cap in it. Close that up. That feels good. I like how that feels. And I really like that trigger. Okay, well, I know I like that trigger, but I'm kind of having a hard time deciding between the 365 XL and the Hellcat Pro and even the Glock, because sometimes budget plays a part. Well, then what we do, we've got the Strikeman laser cartridge, and we put that in the guns and we try them all out. How does it feel to shoot? Now, this does not give us the recoil, but it gives us an idea over 10 or 20 rounds how it feels over time to shoot this. Then, once your new shooter has decided which one they really like, then we talk about, well, how does it take apart? Okay, I've decided I really like this one. How do I take it apart? So we walk them through. Pull it back. First, you make sure it's empty. Pull it back, pull the tabs, pull the trigger, and it comes apart. Because, like I told you in the beginning, when I first got my first gun, nobody showed me how to take it apart. So I had no idea. So we walk your new shooter from beginning to end through the entire thing. And if your new shooter wants to take lessons, we have some really good options in the area. Point Blank Defense, Safe Firearms Training, and Tactful Tactical all offer individual classes and lessons. If you have any questions, feel free to message us on Facebook, email us at jeffersonfirearmspa@gmail.com, or you can go onto our website and contact us through that. We look forward to seeing you, and have a great afternoon.